My name's Billy Fox. That's my really real name. My mom just wanted a Billy boy, not a William. But my name is Billy Fox, and my ID number is 423080. Joined the Marine Corps in July 28, 1942 with my brother. I'm 19 and he's 17. And prior to that, we were in Indiana Children's Home, Soldiers and Sailors Children's Home, because my father was a World War I. He died when I was 7 years old and went down to this children's home, graduated in 1941. And everybody had to take a trade, and I ended up loving the printing trade, and I wanted to be a newspaper printer in 10th grade. So that's what I intended to do, but the war came along in 41, and I graduated in 41, and my brother and I went in Marines July 28th, 42, and we stayed together in boot camp and went overseas together. A sergeant's post office rating, and I was a sergeant and general, I guess you might call it. I forget what it was. But anyway, I was a buck sergeant, and when I got home, I had a year to serve, because when we went in, every other one was a reserve, one was a regular. I happened to be the regular, so I had a year to serve. And after the war, and I went to the Great Lakes in Illinois, and between Chicago and Milwaukee. And that's the best year I ever had. Good liberty, and a lot of girls, a lot of beer. And I don't know what else. And after I got out in 46, I had to wait to be an apprentice in the local newspaper. And I finally got in 48 and got married and served my 5-year apprenticeship. Graduated, and 2 years later I moved to California, LA for eight months, and then came up to Sacramento and went into the Sacramento Bee in May 1960, and retired in 1990.
Where did you serve when you were in the Marines? What were your campaigns?
Well, the only campaign I was in a supply and service and supply, and attached to the 1st Division when they were in Guadalcanal. I was on New Caledonia, and for I think about 2 years, we got shipped up to Guadalcanal, and I was there about 6 or 8 months, I forget what. And most of us had been, I think, two years overseas, and we could have gone home, but we didn't want to go home and then have to come back. So we all volunteered to go on up to Okinawa. And if one guy had said he wouldn't go, we couldn't. But anyway, we all went, the whole detachment. And I think that time we were attached to the 3rd or the 5th Marines, I forget which. And we landed up on Okinawa 20 days after D-Day, and in landing boats, but we all made it. The problem I had was jumping off the cargo net, and my brother's down in the landing boat, hollering jump, everybody's hollering jump. I look down there and next thing the little boat be up higher than the big boat. And we lost one guy between the two boats and never did find him, I guess. Finally I just closed my eyes and jumped and made it. And then we got onto land and everything was okay. We made it okay. And we bivouacked up on Yontan Airfield there in the northern part of ice, I think it was. And one night, all the air raids they called to stop the lights and everything, and they allowed these two planes, the American planes with the emblem and everything. They landed, and out jumped a plane full of Japs, and they made short shift of that. So, and they got one down in our camp, and they shot him, and they put his head on his rifle and stuck it in the ground, and that next day the commandant saw it and he ordered that taken down. But anyway, that was and then other than the kamikaze and the bombing every day and every night, that's the only combat that I saw. And the kamikaze there's thousands of them, and they did a lot of damage to the ships, and some of them chickened out, and we got a picture of one fully, the sea base right next to our camp. Excuse me, got pictures of it, and other than that, one night on the Marine Corps had a detachment of fighter planes shortly past our camp, and one night they had one of the planes missing, and there was a Jap trailing in the back of them. They didn't know he was there, and he got over our fuel dump and dropped his bomb and blew it up, and my brother was supposed to be up there, and a couple of guys got killed, and I started running up there, and his good friend says, let's look in his bunk and see if he's there. And we went over to his bunk, and there he was, sound asleep. And I woke him up and he said, get the hell out of here. And I said, weren't you supposed to be up there at the fuel dump? Yeah, but they told me not to show up, get out of here. Anyway, that's about the, shortly after that, the war ended, and 9 days before we were supposed to go aboard ship to come home, there was a typhoon go through, and I was up there with my crew. I had two guys in my crew, and it was in early morning, and the wind was blowing so hard, I went and got some water to make another pot of coffee. And I heard a creaking in the back of me, and I turned around, and finally the people came and found me, and I was hollering, and the water tank started leaking. I couldn't raise my head. I had to push the water out to keep from drowning. And it finally got me out, and an army truck went by with a bunch of soldiers, and they helped it out. And often the guy said, "No, it's okay." So I waited till after I got home, and I waited till about 3 weeks before my discharge, and I went into sick bay to get my knee fixed, which was a common thing. And I was in there with 20 sailors, all sailors, and they all had the same surgery. They were coming out okay. Mine got infected, and I was there in 4 months after my discharge. But I ended up, I got 100% disability out of it, so that helped. And then after after the war, we went aboard ship USS St. Mary's, and had all Australian Army wives and the babies and everything. We down on the hold, and didn't matter to us. Anyway, the captain, we went around to the Aleutians to avoid Hawaii, so he wouldn't have to pick up some more people. So first snow we'd seen in 3 years. I was overseas 35 months. I finally got home, and it was a joyous, I'll say, very joyous homecoming. And I spent the final year in the best liberty and best year of my 4 years in the Marine Corps. And I got out in 46, and then I went in my apprenticeship, moved to California in 56, and went to the B in 60. And 30 years later, in 1990, I retired. This is about it.
How was boot camp for you?
Boot camp. It was harder than I thought it would be. They act like they didn't want us to be there, and that surprised me. But we had a very good DI, Corporal Guidry, and he was firm, very firm, but he was a nice guy. I never forgot that guy. He was a corporal, and he was a seagoing Marine before he made DI, and we all respected him very much. And my brother and I was third shortest in the whole bunch. And in our picture, I had to sit next to the DI, which didn't bother me but everybody gave me a bad time. And but I made boot camp. Everybody made boot camp. And half of us went to the service and supply, and the other half went to the Raiders. And several of my fellow boots were killed in the Raiders, but everybody, my brother and I, we think we were sent to the service and supply because we were brothers, and at that time there were 5 Navy guys, brothers got killed on the same ship. So I think that's what saved us from going to the Raiders. And but the bombing and the kamikaze planes on Okinawa, that's the only combat I saw. Almost got hit by a shrapnel once, but it didn't bother me. That's about it.
Okay. Why did you join the Marines? Why did you pick the Marines?
Well, my brother was going in, and I had a good job. We made in Allison's, Indianapolis, Indiana, and making airplane motors for, I forget what the planes were. But anyway, I had a good job, and my brother was going in, so I decided I'd probably get drafted. I was 19. I would probably be drafted and go to the Army. I didn't want the Army, so we went in together, and my mother and everybody was so proud, and got our picture in the Indianapolis Star, which we didn't see till we got out. So it turned out pretty well.
And why are you still a Marine as far as being in the Marine Corps League? Why are you still active?
Why am I?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm proud I was in the Marines, and I don't mind telling anybody that I'm proud that I was in there. And I like to help the people that we help, the Marine Corps League. And I'm all for it, so I stay as active as I can.
You're a Marine forever.
Forever, ever, yeah, right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.